So much good stuff to get through over the next hour. Great to have you with us. Bits on the agenda tonight. We're not going to muck around. Hello, Paul Gallen.
Yeah, Brace.
Looking fit, mate.
Mate.
Been training at the moment, no doubt. Sunville, watch out. Hello to you, Cameron.
Hello, Brace. How are you?
Excellent, very well. Top dog down the end.
James Bracey, how you doing?
Another week, another win.
It's only early, James.
10 rounds gone.
Only early.
Only 17 to go.
Long way to go.
What a treat it is to have in what is only one person could wear this outfit on this set. Mitch Moses. That's a great news. Hello, Mitch.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Good to see you here tonight, mate. Now, we've got a lot to talk about you shortly. Our star in the spotlight, Origin, the Eels. But first, we've got a bit to get through. Gus, what did you learn from the round that was?
I'll tell you how good rugby league is going. Years ago, if you played the 3 o'clock game on a Saturday afternoon, only friends and loved ones turned up to watch. But there's Canberra, a sellout crowd, 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And not only full of Canberra fans, but the Bulldog fans will travel and made a great afternoon of entertainment in rugby league down there. Well done to the Canberra Raiders. But the game's going good when you get big crowds on a Saturday afternoon.
That was brilliant. Look at the blue and white there, though.
And Bulldogs travel.
Put a spring in the step of the top dog as well. Some great banners too. Gal, for you over the weekend.
Yeah, I learned there was a sneaky Pink Panther on the weekend when they were about to kick off, and look at him, just wetting the totally wetting the ball here, trying to make the opposition drop it, obviously. And I've done a little bit more research over the weekend, and there was another one of these that went on as well.
Okay.
The Cowboys trainer up there actually did it and got caught by the referee. The referee made him, let him blow up. The referee blows up, said, no way, we're going to change that. So he kicks that ball off the field and made him change the ball. Did not like the water being put on it at all. So a little bit of gamesmanship there by some of the trainers.
So is this a regular tactic, Cam?
Well, it hadn't happened. You know what hadn't happened since Cameron Smith told Kevy Walters to wet me in the Origin decided back in 2008, and I lost it to Kevy on the field.
Hey, I had nothing to do with that.
No, please.
Nothing.
Please, you control everything. We know that.
Squirting water on the ball, Gus?
In the old days where fields used to be dusty, you'd have a muddy day and it'd just be a mud heap. You'd roll the ball in the mud before you kicked it off to the opposition team all the time. I mean, any trainer who's not doing that's not doing his job. Simple as that.
Nothing to see here, Mitch?
I think it's play on.
Yeah. You're all right with it?
Well, just before we do move on, I want to congratulate you guys for 50 years in rugby league, mate. Well done.
Yep.
I'm sorry I couldn't come. The mail has been shut up at my house, so it obviously my invite obviously got lost in the mail. But well done. Congratulations on 50 years, mate.
Thank you, Paul.
In Gus's defence, he didn't send out the invite. Did
Did he?
happening.
Damn it.
So
It was a surprise party,
I
Paul.
feel better then, because Gus would have invited me for sure.
one thing I noticed, I love it since Nathan Brown's gone to the Manly Seagulls. Backfence Brown, they've been calling him, and it took it quite literally. He's actually leaning against the fence this weekend to get the ball off the kick-off, and inevitably it went straight to him, Gus.
Yeah.
That's what
Well,
it's
he needed the Sydney cricket ground. He could be 40 metres behind that if he wanted to be.
right off the back fence.
Wind up.
Basically, about that, I was on the sideline right in front of it, and he raced back before like anyone was anywhere near getting set. He raced right back, grabbed the signage, moved all the signage out of the way, backed himself right up against the fence, and was ready to go.
That's
He
embracing
runs
it.
as hard as can as far as he can, but as soon as he hits him, he falls down.
He went spiralling off to the left.
I'd kick it the other side just to stir him up. He does all that work, gets on the back fence. I'd just kick
I'd be
him
wetting the ball before I...
Now, Mitch, what did you learn from Thursday night, Eel v Dolphin?
Yeah, I learned a lot about our side. Probably some big moments there where in the game we probably didn't nail and it hurt us. And learned a lot about our side. The Dolphins hung in there, they completed really high, and they played some pretty good footy as well. So, learned a lot about our team, but something that we need to fix up.
Interesting matchup too, wasn't it? It sort of set the tone for the weekend. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Like I said before, they completed really high, and we had a little lead on them at one stage, and then we just couldn't put them away. And credit to them, they played pretty good footy.
Look at Herbie go.
How'd you see the other halfback? A lot of reps on young Couture at the moment.
Really good. We did a lot of video on him, a lot of prep for him, and we just didn't handle him. He just he played in his own terms against us, and that's probably what hurt us a bit. But he's a quality player at that age to be doing what he's doing at the moment is pretty good.
All right, more on the Eels and your career shortly, Cam. Final cab off the rank tonight.
Yeah, last one. Big announcement last week, of course. The Bears, they're back in.
Sure are, baby.
Your club. Your
Great
club,
mighty
Brace.
Bears.
And I'm just going to look at some pictures here. It's actually James Bracey's world over there. So our fearless leader, you pretty much run rugby league here on Wild World of Sports.
no.
You took off, left us Thursday, high and dry, but you spent the whole day in Perth.
Yep, did. And this is a part of a shoot we did on a current affair. So the Bears even made it to a current affair.
How was it? How was it over there? What
It was
the
great.
reception
You know what? It was like these were the scenes from Norse at Kemaray, and they're the die-hard, rusted-on Bears fans that we will be seeing plenty of in the stands come 2027.
Yep.
But the media turnout over there, the optimism surrounding it all, and HBF Park. First time I'd been there, standing in the middle of that. Have you played over there yet?
Nah,
Mitch?
I've played
It
there.
It is made for rugby league.
Yeah.
Like, it was beautiful.
Who made you a Bears fan?
My dad, you can blame him, and then you can blame his dad.
It's nearly child abuse.
It's felt like that for the last 25 years. But I'm back. The Bears are back. It was tough going.
Are you number? Have you got an official?
No,
role
with the
there?
new
number
with
one
the team
ticket
at the
holder,
moment, yeah,
chairman, something.
No, we'll see what happens.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Chairman,
I'm
not gonna be the
So, you hear that,
Yeah,
Gus?
no.
You hear that? We'll see what happens. So something is going to
Oh,
come about.
yeah. Watch
Can we
this
get on
space.
with what happened over the weekend? Thank you, Kevin.
He'll be doing Today Show in Perth. He'll
Oh,
be
very short.
jumping on the red eye and get over here to do Today Show in Sydney.
Yep, brilliant. Time to talk some actual football, please. And what a round it was. And here is the proof.
Upset weekend in the NRL. There he goes, Bip, 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 he's away! Oh, he's down the wing, he turns it inside! The hammer saves the day!
This has been a calm up in the first half so far.
The Newcastle Knights well on top here.
Brimson, 3-on-2, Capoeira, Robles, Brimson's there! He plants it down! Gives the Gold Coast the lead!
Here comes a real Latrell Rayback. Oh, he goes for it. He's from halfway! The kick of his career! And Latrell has caught them all napping and got up and scored a try just to cap it all off.
We've got first versus second.
Oh, they're firing all cylinders this afternoon. Crichton lines up. Crichton for the Lions. Crichton is in. It's on Canterbury. But they've reeled in 20 points. One of the great comebacks we have ever seen.
Metcalf, he's got it. The Warriors win again.
Drinkwater, the grandstand finish. Hello, Mr. Cliffhanger. Cleary takes a step, and we'll have to call it a draw.
Hausen, he's electric. He's everywhere. 4 tries in the one game.
Back, Fitz, Brown. Oh, against Ross. This is me some trying to get Manly going. Ujo shot to Ujo. Oh, yeah. Bowler, and the speed men arrives just in time for Manly. How's that for a kick? That's brilliant. Running away with it here, Granada.
Boy, oh boy, the round of the year by far this year, the 10th, absolutely delivering from Thursday through to Sunday. Mitch, we just saw there Ryan Pappenhausen. You talk about doing your homework on certain players. How do you suss out a player like that?
Yeah, he's a quality player. I think wherever he is on the field, they're pretty much going to go. And he's the ultimate support player. Anywhere there's a line break, they pretty much turn into points. So he was outstanding on the weekend.
Cameron, there's going to be a lot of chat now between now and next Monday.
Yeah.
When Laurie Daly names his side. Can he fit Ryan Pappenhausen in there? And he's putting his name over in lights every week.
Well, the discussion's started already this morning, hasn't it? They've spoken about, well, Laurie's mentioned that there has been discussions around Ryan Pappenhausen possibly being on the bench as a number 14, Mr. Fix-It, a utility player on the bench. Look, there's no doubt he's got the quality about him to do that. And if it's a tight game and the Blues need some points or need a bit of X factor, there's no doubt that he's the type of player that can cause Queensland some issues. Hasn't played Origin before, so maybe that comes into account. Traditionally, the first game of the series, Gal, is usually quite a tight affair. So whether you throw in a debutant,
How would he go defensively? You got him at 14 and he had to go on and play hooker.
No, you couldn't play him in the
Robson's
middle.
hooker and he needs a rest. Could you play him there at all?
I don't think you could defend him in the middle.
So you'd have to... What would you put him on as a 14? Put him on as a lock, just rove around the field.
You throw him in the middle, an extra fullback, I guess, in attack, but in defence you'd have to defend him out wide. There's no doubt about that. So there would be some reshuffling, which is why I don't think they'll go Pappenhausen for game one. I don't think they will.
The 18th man's so important these days. The 18th man gets used a hell of a lot. I'd pick him as 18th man personally, but obviously Laurie will come up with whatever decision that he makes, but he's in some good form at the moment.
Yeah, I think a player like him, you either pick him as a number one or you don't pick him at all. I don't see what advantage there is putting him on the bench because really he only covers one spot.
Yeah.
He covers fullback.
And he may not get used.
And he may not get used. So I think, and his form's good enough to play number one. I mean, but I think if you're going to pick him, you've got to put him in the number one jersey if you decide that's what you're going to do. But if you don't put him in number one, he just misses out, unfortunately.
And he's, third in the pecking order there when you've got guys like Teddy and
pretty
the incumbent Dylan. It's a pretty decent situation for the coach to be in at the moment. Speaking of coaches, Cameron, so the Melbourne Storm,
Yes.
it was all one way against the West Tigers, as we saw there. And bellyache. I'm not sure. Look at Harry. Come on.
Smile,
Give us
coach.
something. Anything, coach.
Well, these are
Ducky.
typically these are the games, Brace. So I remember back in my playing days, whenever we had a big score against an opposition, particularly early, that's when bellyache would be most tense in the coach's box. Just in case, we got a little bit comfortable on the field.
Well, they have a few times this year.
Well, they have. Yeah. They have. They most definitely. They did it only a couple of weeks ago against, the Dolphins?
But they've done it 2 or 3 occasions. Round one this year.
Canberra last week.
They won 40 points against Para. I think round one, Para won the second half. So they've done it a number of times. So for them to go on and win the way they did, I'd say, he'd be pretty satisfied with that, wouldn't he?
Oh, I think so. I think that was a great reaction or bounce back from the result against the Raiders. I think he would have been extremely disappointed with their efforts there, and you could see with the way they opened up the match in the first 40 minutes, they were a million miles an hour and so clinical and executed everything really well.
A little later on, the fallout from that social media post from Jerome Luai's dad as well, more Origin, of course. We're from Laurie Daly, got a bit to chat about with this man as well. Stephen Crichton, though, Gus has already set the scene for what unfolded in Canberra. Huge crowd, record comeback as well, but that guy... Geez, he loves a moment, doesn't he? And that moment came in the second half in the nation's capital.
He's a quality player, isn't he? Like I've had the privilege to play with him in the Origin arena, and he's been outside of me, and just how much leadership he has, and how comfortable you feel when you're defending next to him. He's a quality player, and even what he does with the ball, you know what I mean? You can give him ball like that early, and he does his thing, and he's a quality player.
Become quite a leader, hasn't he?
Well, that's what I was going to ask Gus about. All reports, when people talk about Stephen Crichton, his talent's unquestionable, but you keep hearing stories about him at training. He leads training, how much of a leader he is at training, how much he talks at training, contributes to the young boys. How much influence does he have there?
Oh, incredible. The impact he's had on the Bulldogs, can't be measured, nor can it be described in words. He's been, for one so young, to come in and command the sort of respect and to accept that respect and accept that leadership. I mean, he's a very young captain. And you've got to understand, young players like him who come on the scene the way they did, he's playing with the Premiers, Penrith, and they're going to grand finals, and he's going off and playing rep football, and then he's got to have a break at the end of the season. He doesn't come back until mid-January, and he only gets a short sort of preparation each year, and that accumulates over a few years. So he's never really had a full off-season to train, so he's always a little bit underdone when we get to the start of the year. He's only just finding his feet now, and his last couple of weeks, like Magic Round, he was outstanding up there against the Titans, and I thought he was, well, you saw what he did on the weekend, but as a person, as a leader, as a professional athlete, I don't think you would get a better example of what it should look like than Stephen Crichton. He's a really special human being. He's a special footballer, but he's a very special human being.
Did you think the game was gone for the dog, Gus?
No, games these days are never gone. They're never gone. And it was a good lesson because when they started badly up in Brisbane, they conceded 34 points. And the sort of lesson was, if you could have saved 2, right, if you could just save 1 or 2 tries when things are going bad, that can come back to you at the back end of the game. And I thought they did really well. They were poor, but they did really well to keep it to 20 in the first half with the possession that was against them. And that gave them a chance if they could be first to score in the second half. And once they got into their own rhythm, it was virtually one-way traffic in the second half. We get a lot of games like this. Canberra have been in a few of themselves this year, and once one team gets the momentum and gets plenty of possession and they've got the ability to score, well, Crichton was outstanding, brilliant, just brilliant.
The Jamin Semin incident too after the try, finding the camera, making sure he mouthed weak gutted dog. It's going to become a bit of a rivalry, this one, Gal. It's going to add some spice for later in the year when they meet again.
I'll tell you what interests me is that Ricky Stewart said it and gets fined $25,000, and he sort of, we're laughing about it. It's a bit of a, it does interest me, and obviously later in the year when they play again, it'll obviously be spoken about. I don't think Ricky will care too much about it or even bring it up again, but without doubt, there's definite rivalry there. And there's history between the two with their families and whatnot, so it's not a great situation, but hopefully it just ends there.
I think he had a bit of a chuckle about it after the game, Ricky.
I hope everyone's laughing about
he
it.
half laughed it off, I think.
Yep.
But Salmon's out for
how long,
extended
Gus?
period of
Yeah,
time
he's
now, Gus.
fractured his ankle. He's out for 10 weeks. So he had surgery surgery at 1 o'clock this afternoon,
All right, no fractured
Which is
ankle.
a loss.
Yeah, it is. Well, and it's an added added to the big
on
list.
a list
you've
of
already
many
got.
losses at the moment.
It's a lot of key forwards on the sideline. No fractured ankle, though, although the way he kicked it, you wouldn't blame him. Latrell Mitchell on Friday night. Our Cash Converters conversion of the week. Yeah, there's no kicking to here, but hey, how can we go past that 49-metre effort in soggy conditions?
Well, Gus, you were
where does
there,
that
Gus,
compare?
weren't you?
I commentated. That's my voice over the top of it, because as soon as he hit it, you could see the trajectory of the ball, and he turned his back. I often watch the kicker after he's kicked it. I saw the trajectory. I said, that's long enough. And I looked at him, and he was walking backwards nonchalantly, like he just picked up, just picked up the mail at the letterbox and was heading back inside. Yeah, and you could just tell it was going to go over.
Yeah.
Mitch, talk us through the mechanics of a field goal like that in that sort of pressure situation too.
Well, I definitely don't have that distance in me yet. But the way he strikes the ball, like for a left footer, it's just so smooth, and he does that stuff at training. Like I've played rep footy with Trell, and he does that stuff at training all the time, so it doesn't surprise me.
He kicked one in Melbourne one night from 40-odd metres out in Golden Point, and it was still rising when it got to the uprights.
It was only about 10
It nearly ended up in the MCG. It was the biggest kick I've ever seen. And when he's goal kicking, he hits the ball as sweet as any goal kicker I've seen. Like when he really hits them sweet, don't they?
Yep.
They don't move, they don't deviate. It's just perfect arc.
That's just what he does.
I love
Just
the
in big
walk-off.
moments, he wants the ball in big moments, and he can produce things others players can't produce. When you think about his previous 78 minutes, he came at the great try-saving tackle, but the first half in particular, he wasn't really there. He was actually a bit lazy at times. But then all of a sudden, when the game's on the line, you give him the ball, and he can just produce. He can just do things other people in the game can't do. He's a special talent.
I watched him all night. Honestly, in 80 minutes of that performance, he spent 70 minutes conserving energy. He's just conserving energy. He decides where and when he gets involved. Like the cover tackle there, he was actually out of position. Went, oh no, I've got to save this one now, and went across and bundled him in, and no one else would have caught him. Like Mariner's really quick.
Yeah.
You know, did an in and away on him. He'd have beaten most blokes. Latrell found a way to get him, but honestly, he spends the majority of his time conserving energy, waiting for the big moment.
Well, come back.
Waiting for the. What about the try at the end?
Playing dead.
Like that's under 12 stuff.
Took a knee, took a knee.
Yeah, that's under 12 stuff.
Yeah, but only Latrell
Pulled their pants down in
could do
public.
it and get away with it. And Latrell, come back, speak to us, the media. Please don't run off the pitch. We want to hear from you in moments like that. We promise we just want to talk about footy. That's all. We'd love to be interviewing you once again. From that match, for the Broncos' perspective, Cam, Ben Hunt.
Yep.
Is he gone for Origin
Hamstring.
1?
Well, he's ruled himself out.
Yep. So
does
this mean Ezra Mam in then?
Well, for the Broncos,
Yes.
well, I don't know. Is it panic stations for the Bronx? They've lost 4 of their last 5. Is that correct? I think it's something along those sort of numbers. Ezra Mam, he had a pretty solid game for the South Logan Magpies. I think he scored 1, set up 3. But that was always going to be the case, even though he's had a long layoff. He's, the quality of player that he is, he's well above Queensland Cup level, with all due respect. You see that he's got a smile on his face as he bumped that player off. He's just mucking around. But maybe this week's the week.
Gotta happen.
Throw him back in.
Now, we didn't get Golden Point from the Rabbitohs match thanks to Latrell on Friday night, but Saturday night we got it. And some. In the end, the Panthers, the Cowboys finishing at 30 points each in what was another epic. And this sort of, I don't know, every now and then it feels like when a team loses in Golden Point that you wanted them to come away with something. And in this one, a competition point each. Mitch, how would that sit with you if you'd made the trip up there and this was the result?
I think that's just how it is. You know what I mean? It's they couldn't come up with the points at the end of the day, but I think it's not too bad having at least 1 point going away from it, especially going with that road trip.
What's your read on both these teams at the moment?
I feel like Penrith still haven't played their best footy, and and probably the Cowboys haven't either. But you know, on their day, they're both very good attacking sides, and I just think you're just not sure which team you're going to get at the moment. I think they'll probably be open to say that. And but yeah, they're both quality sides. I think their best footy's ahead of them. But
The Cows have been so hot and cold this year. Like when they're on, they're brilliant. When they're off, they're not so good. That's probably a description of a lot of teams in the competition, Gus. Panthers have been mostly way off what we expected them to be this year, and I guess their own expectations too. Like their best game this year has been Magic Round by a mile, and they reminded us all that they're far from a spent force, and they can compete with every team in this competition. Just for the Cowboys though, if they don't get things right and they don't get things running their way, they find it hard to turn momentum and turn things in their own their way to try and get things going again. With that Golden Point rule, I sat there watching that game and at the end I felt really flat. I think if we have Golden Point, let's play Golden Point for a winner.
Yep.
If we can't have a winner, let them have a draw after 80 minutes, surely.
So what are you saying? No Golden Point, get rid of it.
No, Golden Point endless, or don't have it.
Yeah. You can't have both.
No time limit.
You know what I mean? Like you ask the players to play extra time,
Minutes, yeah.
and there's no result at the end of that. Well, you may as well just call it off after 80. If they can't decide it after 80 minutes, Gal, let them share points.
I don't mind. I like it. I think it's fun. Keep it, I say, keep it.
Keep it, right.
All right. Lots still to get through on this show. We're going to do a deep dive with Mitch in just a moment on.
What did you learn there, Mitch?
Yeah.
You see what I've got to put up with every day? No one makes any sense, do they?
Mitch's answer was, well, it is what it is.
It is
He's
what
got an opinion. He just doesn't want to share it.
I can't say too much. I'm still playing.
Well, there's been very few draws. When you think about it, there's been many.
But I also
hardly
love
any.
the fact that now there's two teams with the odd point.
Oh,
Could play a key role
exactly right.
at the back end
Leave
of the
it.
year.
Oh, you've
Well, it
got
can
that
keep
weird
the odd
thing
point
with
can
the
keep
ladder
you
rating.
in or keep you out. You've got to make it work for you.
Yep. Exactly. Good
Well,
back
that's
play.
what I'm saying.
could help or haunt.
Take the odd point
Yep.
after 80 minutes.
Yeah, they could have done that.
Save the
Then you
bodies.
miss out on
Save the bodies.
No.
What if we
Stay
lose
with us.
them?
Very soon, we're going to be getting all the latest on our Scuttlebutt Central, and looking forward to this one-on-one. Laurie Daly on 100% footy. A bit to discuss before he names his team in his mighty return in a week's time. He and Chemi very soon. In depth with Mitch right after the break. Welcome back to 100% footy. Our star in the spotlight, obviously, Mitchell Moses here tonight. Danny Whiteley's jumped into the Cam Smith chair. Hello to you, Danny.
Hello, James.
Look, we've got this guy here for a good reason, obviously. Mate, last year's State of Origin series, starring role. You helped the Blues win it against the Queenslanders, then gone no football for what, 8 or 9 months?
No, I played test footy at the end of the year.
Test year, so you
yeah.
got a bit in there.
Got a little bit in.
And
but,
then come back to your club and, geez, you picked up where you left off,
Yeah.
though, back with a bang. How good was it to get out there for that first match of the year after a wait that seemed to be very frustrating for you?
Yeah. I had a bit of foot dramas in the pre-season, so didn't make my return till about round 7, so which was a few weeks ago. But yeah, it was just stinging to get out there. I'm not a very good watcher of from the sidelines, so to be out there was much rather that. So.
Mitch, where you're sitting at the moment, it's obviously not where you want to be, the Parramatta side, but where do you see improvement in your team going forward?
We're a young side. We're still learning on the run. I think there's a lot of players in our team that are learning on the run, and we're leaving them out there for long periods at a time, and they're going to make errors. We understand that, but I feel like the last few weeks we've really been in games, and we've probably been in positions to win games, but we haven't done it, and that's just a bit of experience under our belt. I think nailing the big moments, we haven't been doing that at the moment. But yeah, at least we're in the games for the last few weeks, so hopefully that can turn, and we can put a few more wins under the board.
Mitch, you mentioned your foot before. Is it still a screw in there? Is it still bothering you? Because I noticed you're not kicking. So how are you feeling on it all the time, and why? Because I mean, I like to watch your goal kick, and I'm sure Parramatta fans want to know a bit about that.
Yeah, no, it's 100% at the moment, but yeah, there's still a screw in there, and I just had a bit of trouble with it during the pre-season. Just needed a bit of rest. It was a little bit of a change with all the coaching staff and the new training that I was under. I was probably used to the same thing for the last 7 years, and I think it was just a bit of shock to the body, and just needed a bit of rest going into the year, and it's feeling 100% at the moment. But I think it's more Rossi doesn't want me to goal kick at the moment. I think he's
You got some options there.
just
anyway,
to limit it, as much as possible.
Is he more concerned about your foot? Because it's your plant. It's not
It's
your
my
actual
plant
kicking
foot. Yeah.
So he's got.
I think he's just trying to eliminate everything as much as possible. You know what I mean? It's-
I'm with the coach.
Yeah, so he's
just to keep you on the field and make sure nothing. Can go wrong.
it's more that. So I'd be ready to go if it was called upon, but he's not a fan of it at the moment. But Lomax, fair goal kicker, so
Goes okay.
he can take over.
Before we ask you about this year's Origin, can we go back to last year's Origin? How important for you personally was it to go through that series the way you did and come out a winner in that series, a milestone in your career?
Yeah, it was pretty big. I obviously didn't play game one, so watched it from at home, and I thought the boys really competed pretty hard, having 12 men for the majority of the game, and they competed hard. And I just knew if I got my opportunity going in game two, I pretty much went in with a mentality that this could be my last Origin game. You know what I mean? So I went in with that mentality, took some risks, and I just really dialed in and really was so focused into that series. I was just lucky that I was playing with some quality players in that team, and all I had to do was do my job, and I was lucky to come up with a few moments in that series. But it helped with the players around me doing their job as well.
Game three was an epic. I mean, it was only 4-2 at half time. No one looked like scoring a try. You got the four best playmakers in the game out there. No one could create a line break. No one could. There was no tries from kicks. The second half comes, and again, it's pretty much the same. Luai runs the ball, New South Wales score. You run the ball, New South Wales win. How important for playmakers is running the ball in the modern game, particularly in fixtures like that?
Yeah, I've probably having that experience in the Origin Arena a few years before. We played up in Suncorp game two, and we'd done exactly what we did in the first half. We're going sideline to sideline. Me and Jerome were playing sideline to sideline. So I just had a flashback from that game and just knew that, all right, going into the second half, we had to take the line on. And so learning those lessons from playing in the previous series really helped, I think, going into the second half. And I had such quality players around me that they kept me calm as well in those moments. And me and Jerome and Dill, I think Dill was massive for me as well. At the back, he just kept us calm in going into the second half. And we knew that if we just stuck to the process and come away with some points. I mean, I think we dropped the ball over the line maybe 2 times in the first half and we're pretty unlucky. But we probably went away from that last time, and we just stuck to what worked well for us, and we're just lucky to come away with the points.
All right, so just quickly, given the setbacks you've had, physically, if you were picked to play Origin in this first game, would you be physically ready to do it?
Yeah, 100%. It's probably the best I've felt. Probably.
That's going to be the easiest question,
yeah.
right? Because a lot of the conjecture is, it's for me, it's either Cleary and Luai, or it's Moses and Luai. You pick your half, you pick your 5'8". A lot of the talk is that you and Cleary could play half and 5'8". Do you see that? Would you be able to handle that? Would you be able to move it to the left-hand side of the field? Would you be able to defer most of the other play to Cleary and play 7 and play a 6 role in that?
Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable playing on the left side of the field. It's I've only pretty much played on the right side because I'm right foot kicker and I was predominantly the more dominant kicker. So I feel like everything I play and the type of footy that I play is more on the left side. But and that's where I feel comfortable. But I think being able to play in the 6 with Nath would be unreal. You know what I mean? I've never played with a half before that's taken control, and I've been able to sit back and pick my opportunities. Where that excites me. That excites me to have that opportunity to be able to sit back, pick my opportunities when I want. And I think it's a big thing is putting your ego to the side, I guess, and having 2 halfbacks there, I guess, and I come through playing 5'8" as well at the Tigers, so it won't be too different. But it excites me to be able to pull myself out of the game a little bit and be able to pick my times when I want, I guess. And
So
I
pick
feel
me.
like
That's what you're saying.
I feel like I could. It could work, but it is what it is. Whoever they go with there, they've got my full support, I guess.
Mitch, I've watched you grow up in front of our eyes in a lot of ways, and you're a dad now, 2 kids. Now, firstly, how much has that changed you? And secondly, have you changed a nappy yet?
Nah, yeah.
'Cause I know-
I want to stay away from
continues.
those nappy
haven't changed
conversations.
one.
No, I've changed a few. Not too many, but
How did we get from talking Origin
that's Danny
to changing
coming in.
nappies?
Well, mate, we're talking about him as a bloke as well.
Yeah,
Person.
yeah.
He's matured, Gus.
But yeah, like
I'm trying to get a solution from New South Wales. And you want to talk about
We
changing
might
nappies?
have just found it.
How do we let media people on this show?
Mitch, what about your relationship back to footy? Sorry.
It's okay.
What about your relationship with Jason Rolls? How's he been at the club? He's obviously come in. He's done a fair apprenticeship. Obviously to get a head coaching job. But how's he been?
He's
And
been really
What's
good.
he bring to the club as well? He used to be I used to play against him as a front rower.
Yeah. He's been really good. I thought I knew everything going into this pre-season, before Aussie got there. I thought I knew everything about rugby league. I thought there's not much more I could learn and everything like that. And then he's come in and I've learnt more. I've learnt so much in this last 7 months that I've been with him than I've learnt over the last few years of my career, I guess. And I feel like he's taking his time. It'd probably be easy for him to start blowing up and dropping this person, dropping that person, but he's giving everyone a lot of time at the moment, and we've got a really young squad at the moment, and he's just leaving these kids out there for a bit, and they've got to learn the hard way. But we're seeing some really good things out of them. But he's been really good. He's been really good around the club. He's got a lot of help around there. And our assistant coaches have been good, a massive help for him. But he's been really good. He surprised me, to be honest, and I've learned a lot from him in the last 7 months.
Does it give you a bit of an insight as to probably what's been built at the Melbourne Storm over the years with the DNA of their football club?
Yeah, obviously he's worked under Bellyache there, and then Trent Robertson at the Roosters. So he's brought a lot of that stuff towards our club, and he's trying to implement that into our club and into the players, I guess, and how we train, how we go about ourselves outside of footy as well. But we've shown moments of it this year, but not enough of it. So it's coming, but just taking a bit of time.
What's the solution for Dylan Brown leaving the club at the end of the year?
For this year,
For next year? What's
for
the
next
solution?
year for Dill? I'm not too sure. I mean, he's not going to be with us. So, but he's
How do you replace him?
how to replace him? I'm not too sure. That's probably up to the club and how we go about those things and what conversations they're having. But he's a quality player. He's going to be missed by us, and I've played alongside him for so long, and it'll be hard for him to see him leave. But it's a tough one. I can't really answer that one.
Yeah. So when they replace Dylan Brown, they're not going to ask you? They haven't asked you?
They haven't asked me.
That's a lie.
Mitch, Gus won't ask it, but I've got to ask you the Lockie Galvin question. I think I asked you that once before.
Yeah, I think you have.
Good player.
Very good player. He's a very good player.
You like him? Would he be good at the club?
I'm not too sure. I can't really comment about that. He's still contracted there for the next 2 years, I think. So, it's a tough one to comment on.
You
But
say
he's a good player.
You say he's a good player. What makes him, in the eyes of someone like Gus Gould, be the best teenage player they've seen?
I've watched his games pretty closely, and he's a quality player. I think at the age he is, to be able to attack games and not go out of games, he's always on the front foot and he's always coming at you and he's always throwing questions at you. And as an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid, and what he's done coming into first graders, I haven't seen it before. You know what I mean? It's amazing, and he's going to make errors. He's making errors at the moment, but he's going to learn on the run. And he's a quality player, and I think he's got a big future.
As do you, mate. You're far from done. Great to have you in here on 100%
you.
Footy, mate.
Thanks
Star
for
on
having
the
me.
spotlight, Mitch Moses. What a champion. And now one of the veterans of the game too, isn't he? Great to have him here tonight. And Mitch, I reckon you'll like hearing Laurie Daly and what he's got to say about some key selection positions for him at the moment. We hear from the New Blues coach right after the break. On Mitch, on Pappy, and so much more. Stay with us.
Queensland have won another series.
That was disappointing, but we did really well to get back into it.
The Blues, they sink to the ground.
Look, I believe we're getting closer. I think the players believe we're getting closer.
Queensland 52, New South Wales 6.
Again, it's a learning process. It's a hard lesson because, Origin, you only get 3 cracks at it.
It wasn't going to be easy, but they've won it.
at some point, we've got to draw a line in the sand and say, well, effort is good. We can't keep reverting back to that.
The champions prevail. The dynasty continues.
It's 12 months away, the next game, and it'll hurt for 12 months.
There was so much controversy when you exited last time. Did you feel you were let down at the time?
Oh, no, not really. No, I think if I had my time over again, I would have dealt with things a little bit differently. But no, I really enjoyed my stint. Never expected to be back here. As a leader, you've got to take responsibility. So that always falls back on you. But at the end of the day, the decision was made. You accept it. You sort of move on. Plenty of people have said to me, mate, what are you doing getting yourself back into it? But I think when you've been involved at this level and you get asked to be a part of it, because you've got such a passion for it, you think you can contribute, you think you can offer something to the playing group.
I'm sure you heard it, right? The noise that maybe you were too soft on the players, that they walked all over you. How did that sit with you?
That was the impression that people had from the outside. But no, I think, mate, that I'm a different coach to a Craig Bellamy. I'm a different coach to Michael Maguire. You've got to do it your way. But I'd like to think that I've always had strong relationships with my players. At the end of the day, we just weren't good enough. I've got to be better. I will be better, and hopefully I'll be able to provide the environment for these players to play to their potential.
Based on what happened last year, everyone expected that Dylan Edwards would walk into the number one jersey without any questions, but Teddy's given you something to think about. And so has Ryan Pappenhausen, to be fair.
Well, Pappy on the weekend was brilliant. And, I think Teddy's playing his best football. And Dylan has done nothing wrong. So a guy like Ryan Pappenhausen, I think you'd use as a utility on the bench if you're looking to go down that path.
Latrell Mitchell, everyone talks about Latrell being a big game player. We saw it at the MCG last year. Does he get in your team somewhere? He has to be there, or you have to be open-minded with other players?
I think you're always open-minded, but I think we all know what a special talent Latrell is, and when he produces his brilliance, he's unstoppable. And I know that he wants to be a part of it. Hopefully he gets through injury-free, and I'm sure if he does that, then he'll be heavily discussed.
The 6. That's it. Everyone assumes Nathan's the 7. I'm sure you've locked in Nathan as your 7. Jerome Luai versus Mitchell Moses. Who's got their nose in front heading into the last weekend?
I think this is going to be obviously our toughest decision. I'm certainly thinking of Mitch Moses as a 6, strongly as a 6. I think his running game would suit State of Origin. Whoever we go with, whatever combination we go with, it's going to be difficult because all 3 deserve to be there.
What about Jake Trbojevic? Being an inspiration for New South Wales, obviously will never let you down, and everyone loves Jake.
Yep.
Some people saying perhaps maybe his time is up. How do you handle the situation around Jake?
Yeah, I think Jake is a wonderful leader, and we all know Jake's a great person. But you talk to anyone that was with the team last year, and he was the glue that sort of kept them all together. And sometimes it's hard to put a price on what that brings to a group.
I remember last time you got really sick. You had shingles, the pressure that comes with this job. It got a bit much for you. Are you ready to be thrown back into that?
I got shingles twice.
Really?
Yeah,
while coaching?
Just run down. Coaching does funny things to you, and obviously the pressure, and you take on a lot, but you know what you're getting yourself in for.
Your family say, "What are you doing? Don't do it."
My wife did. Yeah. I think the kids are excited. Yeah, my wife would have preferred me not to do it.
Well, hopefully you're flying off in July, somewhere European holiday, taking her over the series win. So good luck with it all. Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks,
Mick. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Good on you, Loz. Great to hear him one-on-one there with Michael Chemis here on 100% Footy. He's back for another stint. You, Gal, of course, had so much to do with him throughout that reign. The 2014 State of Origin series win obviously stands out. This bloke causing a bit of torment for both of you.
For a long time.
In between, there and thereabouts. What are you expecting from Loz, though, in his fresh start for the Blues?
I think he'd be great. I love being under Laurie Daly. I had a great relationship with him. I still do. As far, I don't know where the shamus about the players walking all over him came from. That's a bit of a shock to me, that question, because he was everyone had the utmost respect for Laurie, what he did in the game, what he did as a coach. So there certainly was none of that. But he was fantastic. I expect him to do a great job. Obviously, the Blues should be confident. They won last year's series, so they're going into this year with a pretty good team. I think, obviously, look, we're talking about Origin, still got to get through a week of footy. And a week of footy is a long time, as we know. So let's hope all the big guns don't get injured this week and we can pick the best team possible going into game one.
Gus, he was your number one Origin player of all time, Laurie Daly. You loved coaching him. He says there that he's got to be better and he will be better. What is it you think he'll change?
I'm with Gal. I mean, the comment there that there was a perception that he was soft on players, I think is totally wrong. I don't think he was soft on players. I think the last time he coached, I felt that he was a little bit too trying to please people on the outside about selections. I think he was heavily influenced by people on the outside, where if you're going to do that job, it's got to be you that does it, and you've got to have your own selections. And I think if you could just urge him to be his own man, he knows what an Origin player is, he knows what it should look like, he knows Origin football as good as anyone, and he's got to trust his own judgment on that, and I would urge him to do that. He doesn't need advice from other people, he doesn't need advisors, and he doesn't need to please anyone with selections. He just needs to go with his gut feel and go from there. And then if you do lose, well, then you can say, I got what I wanted, I've got no one to blame. And I think a lot of the angst came because I think there was a little bit of uncontrollable stuff there for him, and that's what eats away at you. And he's 100% right. I mean, the coaching of the Origin side is an enormous pressure. There's enormous responsibility. There are so many eyeballs on that game, and there's such big scrutiny. And you're playing, you're coaching the best players around, and they've got pressure on them as well. It's a wonderful test of everybody, coaches and players, and it's an emotional roller coaster. And he was openly admitting there that it got him run down and it made him sick. But those scars can come back and make you stronger later on. So I hope he comes in as a stronger coach and stronger minded about exactly what he wants.
Billy v. Loz in the coach's box, but what about their sides? A week away from picking them. Gal, we got you to decide on your Blues lineup for, which is hard to wrap your head around, Origin 1, Suncorp Stadium, Wednesday fortnight.
Yeah, as I said, I'm with Gus a bit on this one. You don't like picking it too early, and a week in rugby league's a long time, but that's what I've gone with. Dylan Edwards, Brian To'o, Turbo, Latrell in the centres with Crichton. Turbo on the wing. I've gone with Jerome Luai simply because he plays on the left-hand side of the field, a left-foot kicker. Reece Robson, Payne Haas, Mitch Barnett. The rest is all there. So I have left Jake Trbojevic out, which was the hardest thing I had to do. He's one of the guys who everybody in the game absolutely loves, but I just think that just the leg speed of some of the other guys on the bench. Spencer Leniu, he's an absolute powerhouse. Terrell May has been absolutely outstanding, and Hudson Young has been great this year. He had a poor second half on the weekend, so he'd want to pick his game up a little bit this week, but I thought, I think he's been outstanding. And I think he's a guy I can put in the middle as well. He does play on the edge for the Raiders, but I think he's got the ability to play in the middle if you need him to.
New skipper? Who you naming?
I've got Nathan Cleary. Nathan Cleary for me. I think, look, Isaiah Yeo and him would obviously be a toss of the coin, but I just think it's Cleary's time. I think it's the final frontier for Cleary to conquer. He's won 4 straight premierships, the best player in the game, as we all know. And I just think if he was to be named New South Wales captain, he'd absolutely love it. And to succeed there, I think leads him to immortality, I reckon.
Where were the errors?
With you one day, Smithy.
No, please, come on.
Gus, you leant over and read with interest Gal's team there.
No, it's only because my eyes are bad and I can't. That's the only reason I was leaning forward.
You happy with his team?
Eh?
You happy with his team?
That's one version you could have, yes.
Any tweaks?
In other words, he loves it. He loves it. He loves it. Doesn't want to admit it.
There'll be a couple of little tweaks there, but, I don't pick my teams until the medical, that.
The interesting thing, obviously, is Latrell, Crichton, Turbo, and how they make that work, the Blues, before we talk about your Maroons.
Well, all three players are elite players, aren't they? You just got to have them there and put them in a position, and Laurie will make it work. They'll make it work as players. You look at the way they play their games, they're team-first people, which is what makes them so special. And whatever role Laurie needs them to play, whatever role their state needs them to play, Brace, they'll fulfil that.
Well, the other one, Zach Lomax. Zach Lomax has been out. The only reason I didn't pick Zach Lomax is because he's been out for a long time. Speaking of Mitch earlier, he'll be back.
He's back.
He'll be back this week, and he's 100% ready to go. He's not coming back just to try and make Origin. He's 100% ready. So if you're to put him in the back line somewhere, maybe it might be a toss-up between him and Brian To'o. That's a big, strong, powerful back line. They're all 6'2", 3+, 100+ kilos. That's a big, big, strong side.
I'm really interested in the selection, and I've heard this a few times. Why would we be picking Turbo on the wing?
Why would I?
Yeah.
Well, I think he's got to be in the team, Gus. I think where do you put it? How do you have him in front of Crichton? How do you have him in front of Latrell? Latrell's a big game player. You need a big game player. He's had big moments in Origin, as you know. Latrell can just produce things other players can't do. Crichton's been outstanding. And I just think you need Turbo in the team. He's a big body. He's a kick option there. He's tough enough. Why isn't he tough enough to bring the ball out of trouble? That seems to be the perception people have of him. He's not a Brian Toll. He's not. The wingers like front rowers these days. That's what they say. But he's a big bloke. He'd be 6'2", 6'3", 105 kilos. How much bigger do you want him to be?
I didn't say he wasn't.
But what's the question?
I didn't say he couldn't run the ball out of the backfield.
But what is the big question?
I just said he's not a winger. That's all I said.
He's played on the wing for the Blues before.
So where's Turbo?
I'm sure he's played on the wing.
Centre.
I'm sure he's played on the wing for the Blues before.
So Turbo in the centres, it would be your preference?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you've got Latrell and Stephen Crichton. I don't know how he gets into the centres, and I don't know why you'd pick him as a winger. He's an outstanding player. I think it'll be an absolute tragedy if he goes through his whole career and at some time doesn't wear number 1 for New South Wales, because he's a scoreboard influence. He's a huge, but there are so many great fullbacks around. Unfortunately, you've got to leave blokes out. You just can't give them a second prize and play them on the wing because they didn't make their position. Pick your fullback, get a winger. Why are we playing fullback on the wing? I don't get it.
He's never played.
I love you, Turbo, but not on the wing.
But Gus, we picked him in the centres and he was the best player on the field. Roamed around the field. Why couldn't you do that from the wing? Why couldn't you do that from the wing? Roam around the field.
How many did they win by?
They won the series, didn't they?
They won by 50, I think they won.
That was Townsville.
Yeah.
On to the Maroons. Cameron, your
Yes.
team for the opener. Come this time next week. Billy obviously piecing the puzzle together as we speak right now. How do you see it?
Yeah, well, I've gone with Kalen Ponga. Obviously, no Reece Walsh. Coates, Murray Taulagi on the wings. Val Holmes, he's back in the centres. The Hammer as well. He's been a standout for the Maroons over the past few series. Munster, Cherry Evans keeps his spot there as skipper. Harry Grant, big test for Harry Grant this week. Been out for 4 weeks with a hamstring issue. He will play this week, I believe. So Billy will have a very, very close eye on the way he performs and how the hamstring goes. If not, Gus's man, Reid Marnie, might get the call up, I reckon. He's been in great form. Ruben Cotter starting up front with Tino. Tommy Gilbert, Bo Firma for me. He's been in great form for the Titans. Paddy Carrigan, he's got the 13. Then Tommy Dearden, he takes the 14 jersey with Ben Hunt out. Lindsay Collins, game back this weekend, the Roosters. I think he's confirmed to play. Nanai and Mo Fotuaika. Kurt Mann, number 18.
I love it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Melbourne Storm wouldn't risk Harry Grant if he wasn't 100% right.
No, don't think so.
But would Billy pick him without a game? If he wasn't 100%, like he's that good a player.
Yeah.
He's that good a player. Would Billy pick him if he didn't play? If he didn't come up quite right this week?
I reckon he would, Gal. Yeah, because Billy spends a little bit of time at Melbourne Storm training, you got to remember. So he's there and he's seeing the work that Harry's doing. So he's got a better opinion on it than I do. But if he was fit and the medical staff were confident that he could get through a game of football without playing NRL, I reckon Billy would pick him.
It would have been really interesting if Ben Hunt was fit, how that would work with Tommy Dearden.
Yeah, well, it'd be a very tough decision for Billy. There's no doubt about that because the discussion has been around Tom Dearden and the utility value that he brings. He's pretty much a younger version of Ben Hunt. Plays in the halves but can play a little bit of 9 as well. He is a tough customer. Built for Origin, we've seen what he's produced for Queensland already in this arena. He came in his debut. Remember when Cam Munster was ill? He got called up late. He came in and had like 8 or 9 out of 10 performance for Queensland, and you could throw him really nearly anywhere, like through halves, number 9, even in the middle as an extra, ball playing 13. Yeah, I think he'll do well.
How's that Queensland team looking?
Inspired selection, Bo Fermor. I like that. Sounds like he knows what he's talking about, Cam. Inspired selection. He's a really good player. Really good player. I think he would excel playing with those great players in Origin.
Can't come
not
quick
that we
enough.
want to help Queensland too much.
No, absolutely not. Now, while we're speaking State of Origin Rugby League, let's have our Tap Top 3 tonight. And the way we're looking at it is Origin buzzer beaters coming in 3.
Oh, no, not this
Sean
one.
Timmins.
There's me on the ground. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Look at you looking
Where's
back,
Gus?
going, what?
Gus runs on the ground here, I think. He's jumping up. Where's Gus? Where is he?
Cardi, he's happy.
That was a great kick.
Jeez,
Could
yeah,
not
sweet.
believe that. There he is.
That's a great man.
There he is.
Get that, Indians. Get that, Indians.
Oh, well, Webby's
not happy.
You know the true story. When it got to Golden Point, I turned around.
Number 2.
Oh, wait on. I'll tell you later.
Yep.
That was a good moment.
How was that a good moment?
Golden Point. Matty Bowen special. He could take an intercept.
I ran into Brett Kamala.
Golden Point was good that night. Well, because we got a result, Gal.
Yeah, of course.
There's a result, you know what I mean?
You won. I bet if you didn't win, it wouldn't be good.
No, it wouldn't be.
The aerial shot. That's not going to look pretty.
Yeah.
Crikey. And number 1 in our tab top 3 Origin buzzer beaters. This one for you, Lockie.
That was my debut.
Galzo started the run, mate.
Far out. Yeah, thanks, Cam.
Started the run.
But that isn't that, you know, you couldn't have put a better bloke in that position. How many times in that arena did he turn up right place, right time? Darren Lockyer.
He was a great player.
Incredible. Look at Tony Cowley. Ooh.
Always
Lockyer get a HIA for that now from his own player.
That's a grade 2-3 weeks.
Both players gone. I love it.
Oh, dear.
I love digging into the archives. Thank you very much, Cameron. You've got a plane to go and jump onto. Stay with us when we return. That seat will be taken by Denny Wilder. Scuttlebutt Central here on 100% Footy. Back in just a moment.
You got a scoop for us, Gus? A scoop. You know something. You're not
I might be
telling us.
wrong. Whiteley's a
I've
scoop.
got the loser. Well, he can only be done at the Dogs then if he's dealing in facts.
Don't start me on this.
Scuttlebutt Central, Denny Wilder back in the house. Hello, Denny.
James.
The list is long tonight.
Good.
I say it often, but there's a lot
I've
of
forgotten
items
there's so much on there.
There's a lot of names on there, which always
Okay.
excites me as well. First name, Taylor May.
Okay. Taylor May, everybody knows he's been sacked by the Panthers. There was a court case. He's found not guilty. And obviously he's been in the rugby league wilderness. I can tell you where he's been. He's been to rehab. He went there for 5 weeks, and he also was in a psych ward for 2 weeks. So a very heavy story. He wants to come back and play football. I had a chat to him, and here's what he had to say.
If you had a dream to play football again, what would your ideal football situation look like?
Well, for me, I'll just put it out there. I honestly want to play with my brother, and he spoke about that in the media. It'll be a dream come true, not just for us, but for my family.
If it doesn't happen with your brother, would you play for another team? Like, I mean, he's at the Tigers. Would you play for another team outside of the Tigers?
Yeah, 100%. You got to come to reality that it's not always going to fall your way. So if it doesn't, then yeah, I'll definitely go to another team, that whoever wants me, but I'm ready to give my best forward. And
There's a thought out there, does he want to be a boxer? Does he want to be a YouTuber? Does he want to be a rapper? You want to be a footballer?
Yeah, definitely. Football first is my main focus, and that's my main goal. And yeah, I'm ready. And I think people change, the community's change.
Is there a danger for a club who picks you up?
Nah.
Are you a risk?
Nah, I wouldn't, not the way I am now, like, and how I'm truly trying to be, and that's just me being honest. I wouldn't lie. But nah, there's no risk, no way.
So from afar, Denny, there's a long list of red flags there. Obviously, the history, the sacking from Penrith. You talked just then about the psych ward and et cetera, et cetera. He spoke too about being suicidal at times as well. So there's some pretty heavy stuff there. But from a footballing perspective, from spending that time with him, do you get the gist that he is ready to come back into the NRL?
Says he's ready. Hey, look, he doesn't expect everybody to like him, but all he's hoping for is a second chance. And whether he gets that, I'd be very surprised if he didn't. I think that there are at least a couple of clubs, and he mentioned the Tigers there as a club he'd like to play for. But I can tell you, there's a little whisper around town that Taylor May could be in the sights of the Rabbitohs too, with Wayne Bennett as the man who could help him. Like, I don't think there'd be too many better people to help Taylor May re-establish a career if it was the Bunnies. And I wouldn't be surprised if they have a look at him. And obviously his dream is the Tigers, but there's a bit of talk around town that could happen.
Do you see a landing pad for him somewhere in the NRL this season, Gus?
I hope so, because football is important to him and his family, and I obviously had a bit to do with them when they were younger. The one thing I'll tell you about the May boys, and I know publicly it always seems that there's issues around them, they are extremely genuine. They are very, very honest. They don't tell lies, and they give 100% if asked to do so. That's what they are. you know, they're different, and they've had a different sort of upbringing, and they've had a different sort of life, and they don't always communicate exactly the way people would expect someone to communicate. They're, you know, but they're good kids. They don't lie, and they'll give you 100% every time you ask them to do something. They're extremely loyal. But they're loyal to their upbringing. They're loyal to their people, and it's, you know, it doesn't always. Not a lot of people understand where they come from.
One to watch with you, Danny. No doubt updates as the season progresses. The other club you're talking about, the West Tigers, a bit of scuttle surrounding them. They get belted by the Storm, and then all of a sudden there's a social media post, not from one of the players this time, but from a parent.
What is it with Tigers and social media posts? Look, yeah, I actually caught up with Martin Luai, the father of Jerome. I was on the phone with him today, and he offered us a line about what happened today. He gave us a quote.
Get out clause activated was
that was his post. But then this was what Martin said. Yeah, it was a bit of banter between the family and friends, and somehow got into the hands of the media, who screenshot it and sent it to the Ramey's management. I was told about it, not from anyone at the club, and on my own accord, as I was made aware of the media's intentions to make it public, I removed it from socials. Now, I think Martin was embarrassed by it. I don't think he meant any harm by it. I've met Martin a couple of times, and I think he's, from my meetings with him, he's a fairly straight-up guy, and I just think that it was probably a silly thing to do, and I think he knows that now. He knows that us people in the media, as Gus likes to call us, we latch on to pretty much anything and any time, and you know. But that, look, is a legitimate thing to talk about, I think.
Absolutely, it is.
Gus, you know Martin, don't you? So I mean, like, yeah, I don't think he meant harm by it.
No, it would have been a conversation amongst family, and social media. Sometimes you push the wrong button. At the
How
wrong
good
time.
social media? You know about social media, Gary.
I can honestly say the world was better before we had it. You can fly me back to the 1970s, 1980s anytime you like. I'm happy to go back and stay there forever, to be honest.
Give me the 90s, baby.
Social media cost
He's had social media drama.
Cost me $35,000 one year. I posted something I probably shouldn't have.
Was it?
Pressed the wrong button.
No, you pressed the right button.
I pressed the right button. $35,000. I paid it too.
He's a good man.
Martin.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll let that one slide.
He would never have meant for that to be public.
Gotcha. Now, in amongst this Tigers bit here, I said there's lots of names. Adam Reynolds?
To the Tigers?
So
Scuttle.
This is Scuttle. It was going around today that Adam Reynolds could somehow be an option because the Tigers, as you know, are losing Lockie Galvin.
Yeah.
Now, there's a tie-up between Reynolds and the Tigers. Shane Richardson's son, Brent, that's the CEO, and his son, Brent, he's got a company that does management and that sort of thing. He does Adam Reynolds' personal stuff, so like deals outside of football. So there's that family connection. So I spoke to Richo today and said, would he be something or someone you'd be interested in? The Tigers' opinion is that Adam Reynolds will get a deal done with the Broncos.
Right.
However, if by some chance that didn't happen, and weird things happen in rugby league, they could do worse and look at Adam Reynolds. I'm not saying it's happening, just so you're clear, but there's a connection of the Tigers and Adam Reynolds. Gus is shaking his head.
Well, it's pure unadulterated
It's Scuttle. It's Scuttle.
Funny game, rugby league.
Do you know something?
Funny people, journalists. Adam Reynolds to the Tigers.
Well, hang on. We just said there's a link.
Adam Reynolds to the Tigers.
But the Tigers said today.
That's what he said.
No. The Tigers said today they expect him to go.
Adam Reynolds to the Tigers.
Look at Gus putting words.
Scuttlebutt Danny. Brilliant. Scuttlebutt Danny.
You're the journo here tonight.
You're asking the tough questions.
One-on-one with Mitch earlier. Now, Robbo today, far from happy. He blew up at a press conference, but not at the media.
That's a change.
Yeah.
Look, Robbo, we broke the story last week about Dom Young and the Knights and said there was scuttle that they wanted, there could be a connection there. And the Knights actually did want Dom Young and they did approach the Roosters. Now, Robbo was very upset about the way that it's been portrayed, and here's what he had to say.
They want us to release him, but us to pay money for it when we weren't even thinking about releasing him. In what world does that happen? It's business as usual for us, but to throw him in a spin and to throw us in a spin when they've had discussions beforehand and not be ready to back it up, Yeah, that's just not business.
So by the sounds of that, they never wanted to get rid of him.
Well, they had an approach. Because
From Newcastle.
From when he got dropped,
Yeah.
Newcastle seized upon it and thought, okay, this might be an opportunity. And the way the Roosters explained it is it wasn't their idea to ship him off to Newcastle.
Okay.
And that's why Robbo never, in terms of media, he always does a day late in the week just before a game. For him to do a Monday press conference was unusual, and obviously this has been bugging him. He wanted to get it off his chest.
And he did.
Yep.
Did it well.
Brandon Smith as well.
Yes,
that's all done.
The medical at the Rabbitohs,
Yeah.
did he pass it?
Apparently he did. So now it's going to just work itself out. So Brandon Smith, Rabbitoh.
And that could be as soon as this weekend,
any
although
moment.
he's obviously
no,
can't
he's
play
injured,
for...
but any moment. So yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
there you go. Lots of scuttle around.
Scuttlebutt.
We just did a little box with Gus's head in there, just shaking it as you talk. Stay with us. Back in a moment here on 100% Footy Women's Origin this Thursday. We chat with one of the Blue Stars as they look to wrap up the series with a game in here.
My favourite ever player.
Women's game just goes to a new level each and every year, but right now, this rivalry is as fierce as ever.
2025 State of Origin series is underway. Enjoy the ride over the next 70 minutes of rugby league. Johnson finds Apps. Here goes Kessie. Gives it to Sanchez. First try, New South Wales. Sienna Lafippo scores a try, and Queensland hits straight back. Oh, what a collision. Cherrington, the energy off the bench. Southwell, what does she do this time? Church, great footwork. Oh, what a pass from Kelly. Magical football from New South Wales. Aiken, lovely pass, and scoring a try on debut is Rory Owen. Kelly, and Frezard has a double. Barron goes to Johnston. Johnston for the line on the charge. Oh, great footwork. Church for the line. Party time for New South Wales. And off the back of a near perfect second half, a record win for the Blues. They win by 20 and take first blood in the 2025 Women's State of Origin Series.
They certainly do. 32 points to 12, and the Blues did it on their patch. And as we count down now to game number 2, the Blues can wrap it up on their own at Allianz Stadium this Thursday night. You can catch all the action exclusive live and free right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports. I'm pleased to say Samama Taufa, superstar in that Blues jersey, joins us tonight from camp. Samama, great to have you with us. 1 down, 2 to go, or 1 to go, hopefully on Thursday. All the talk I hear coming out of the Blues camp has been about clean slate at zip. How important is it to forget about what unfolded at Suncorp?
That's the main focus we've been here in camp. The group has come in with heaps of energy and we're taking each game as it comes. We've laid the foundation of last week's performance, but you know, it's game 2 this week. It's State of Origin. Anything could happen, and we're in really good stead, and we've had a really tough pre-season that's given us the energy and sort of the mindset of getting the job done each and every game.
Yes, Mum, all the best on there on Thursday night. I'm just wondering how my favourite female player, Jamie Chapman, is going. Has she been in camp this week?
No, Chapel is incredible. She's funny here in camp. She's got so much energy. She's a vibe here, and I know she's looking forward to this weekend and getting the ball in her hands and going up for those, for contesting those balls and putting her best foot forward for the team.
Mima, right from day one, you have been my favourite ever women's player in rugby league. You absolutely epitomise what it means to wear that Blues jersey. I have admired your football right from the first time I've ever watched you play. The preparation for game 1, with you girls not getting any football in prior to the start of an Origin series, how hard is it to prepare yourself mentally and physically for that contest with such a different sort of preparation?
Thanks, Gus. Really appreciate your kind words. You know, State of Origin, like we talk about it, it's the pinnacle of our game, and the preparation looked a little bit different. It just meant that our 6 weeks pre-season, our coaching staff has prepped us as best as they can to get us as best fit and ready to go. And I know for us players, we talk about it, and to see players like Abby Church and Ellie Johnson, Jocelyn Kelleher be able to make their debuts over the last week it's been great. And then our staff has prepped us really well through all the science and the loadings that we've been able to accumulate over the last couple of years. They prepped us as well as we can to make sure that we're ready to go out firing.
Simona, great to catch up. All the best Thursday, and we can't wait to see you run out. And I guess a lot of Blues fans there to cheer you on, hopefully for you guys wrapping up the series. Thanks so much.
Awesome, thank you.
Simona Matau for joining us tonight. Ahead of that match, of course, you can catch it exclusive live and free on Nine's Wide World of Sports, or you could be there, nrl.com/tickets. And tonight, if you're sitting there at home thinking, all right, if I go there, can I do more than just watch a match? Well, you can. You scan that QR code, you can go into the draw to be out there, not only get tickets to the game, but then catch for cash. You can pocket $10,000 if you're lucky enough. And hopefully there is a bit of rain forecast in Sydney this week, that it stays light if you do get out there. Let's see what unfolds out in that pitch. Stay with us just a moment. We wrap things up with our predictions for the weekend ahead. You're watching 100% footy right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Welcome back to 100% footy, wrapping things up with our tips for the week ahead. Gal, what happens Thursday night Women's Origin and beyond?
I'm going the Blues, the Dogs, and the Raiders-Titans could be 50 all, seriously. But I'm going to go the Raiders.
All those big matches, of course, right here on 9. Denny, come on.
Blue Dog Raider.
There we go. Gus?
Blue and Raider.
Dog under the pump, big time.
Oh, yeah.
Got no players left.
No players. How could you possibly win?
You
this
keep
Friday
suspending them, you keep injuring them.
Well, Brace does.
I know where I'm going to keep getting them.
New media. Trial by media.
Might have a debut player this week too, by the way.
Thank you, Gal.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, Denny.
Thank you, John.
Look out for a debut player for the Doggies. Thank you, Gus.
Thank you, John.
Catch you next week. Bye-bye.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.